This is going to sound cliche. It is based on science, it's based on anti-aging, and it is not an attempt to sell you anything. But that morning cup of coffee, and yes, I am the creator of Bulletproof, so my coffee is bulletproof. But that morning cup of coffee, it does magic things that have nothing to do with the typical popular culture around coffee. If you, on an empty stomach, have coffee with no protein and no sugar in it, it doubles the amount of ketones that your body makes. And ketones are these fat-burning molecules when you go into ketosis. And this is enough caffeine in about 2 small cups of coffee. So a medium or large coffee will do that. Since you slept for 8 hours, you got a little boost in the amount of these fat metabolites, these things that you want to fuel the neurons in your brain. And when you have coffee, it does that. Coffee does all sorts of other stuff. So even if I've given up coffee or caffeinated coffee for a week or 2 or a month, I still perform better with a little bit of caffeine in the morning. Most people do. And there's some people who don't metabolize it well. Maybe you want green tea. Maybe you're not one of those. But for me, having that coffee in the morning is terribly important. And I usually don't have breakfast. So what I'm going to do on a busy day is I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to have my normal same dose of coffee I've had every day for the last years and years. And I'm going to do that because it helps with energy production at a very basic biological level. And then I'm going to say, what else am I doing today and how intense is it? Do I want to do this with an intermittent fast like I normally do? Or do I want to say, all right, I'm going to eat, but I don't want to eat. I don't want to force myself to eat. I don't want to eat garbage. So the busier the day, the more I focus on the quality of my food, right? So am I going to eat something that's going to make me just feel amazing? Yes. Am I going to eat something that, that tastes really good, but I feel pretty good after I eat that, but it's not quite there. All of us know if I eat that sort of stuff, man, I feel really good. And some things like, man, I love it, but I really kind of feel not so good after I eat the whole pizza. So I'm going to pick my food to match the state of demand from the environment around me. And that's one of the basics of biohacking. Food is part of your environment. And I'm going to do that. And quite often the answer is I'm not going to eat anything because I want to be in the zone. And other times I'm going to eat something that's really delicious and full of nutrients. And it's going to power me through the day. If you get your food wrong, though, you will not show up the way you want to show up. And you'll crash at 2 p.m. And that's the worst thing you could do on a busy day.
And I want to reiterate that point because it's something we can all do. If you think about the ability to control some of your environment, the food you choose to eat is obviously so important. And I'm with you. I think that the data out there now in terms of whether you call it intermittent fasting or time restricted eating, I have become an acolyte of the waking up. I drink black coffee and I will delay that first meal, whatever we call it. When I'm breaking the fast, it may not be until much later in the morning. And there's something to that. But one of the things that got me so interested in health beyond medicine was when I was a resident physician and all of my friends they were putting on some weight. They were looking really tired. You can't predict your sleep, but I actually employed that mentality throughout my residency. I might be in the hospital for 36 hours straight, but I would actually pack healthy snacks. And so I wouldn't go down to the cafeteria where, you know this because your wife's a doctor. Hospital food is the worst food in the freaking world.
Yeah, the hospital dietitians run if someone says that's what they do.
So you have to, getting back to what we can control, sometimes the busier you are, the only thing you might be able to control that day is what you eat and Absolutely. When you eat. And I love that you reinforce that because that gets back to a biohacking, whether you call it a drill or practice, that it doesn't need to cost you 1 penny more. It's really just sticking to that mentality of this food is going to improve my health, improve my outlook. And it is interesting. The one thing, without diving into the coronavirus pandemic, I've heard that the 2 most commonly selling items are liquor and ice cream. And I'm all for red wine. I like a good double IPA, but liquor and ice cream are probably not the 2 things that are going to get you a biohacking trick for a longer life.
I've been advising people who are saying, what can I do right now to be more resilient? I'm like, don't eat large amounts of sugar because that's shown over and over to suppress immunity, even within a few minutes of eating it and over the next 24 hours. And don't drink even that one drink. that red wine that's delicious. It doesn't matter. Now is not the time to do that if you're going to be exposed. If you're locked away for 2 weeks and you're already in pretty good shape and you want to have a glass of wine, fine. But really, it's just not a good idea. And if you were to just do those two things and nothing else, you're going to be better off.